Hi, I just wanted to make a quick video to explain why I feel that the organic acid test is a useful test to run when deciding on the correct nutritional program for children or adults with autism or Asperger's. So this particular test is we send it to Great Plains Lab in the States, who analyse it and get the results back to us usually within 21 days. All you need for this is one urine sample. So it's a really simple collection process, unlike sort of having to draw blood to get measures that perhaps aren't even as useful clinically. So the first section, which I think is really relevant, is it looks at yeast and fungal markers. So these are metabolites of yeast and funguses that are present in the urine that give us an indicator as to what's going on in someone's gut. So is there a yeast overgrowth or bacterial markers? Are there high levels of bacterial markers, or perhaps Clostridia bacterial markers, which we know can be really relevant for children on the spectrum. Another reason that I think this specific test with Great Plains is really useful, because unlike any other organic acid test, it looks at oxalate metabolites. And sometimes when you're working with children on the spectrum, it's the only indicator that they would benefit from a low oxalate diet. Other clinical signs that oxalates might be a problem include kidney stones or recurrent urine infections, but with children on the spectrum, the signs aren't always as clear that oxalates are an issue for them, and this can be relevant if you're looking at going down the SCD or GAPS protocol route. It's useful to know if oxalates are a problem, because sometimes those diets are particularly high in foods that are high in oxalates. So this is particularly useful in that respect. We can also see the mitochondrial markers to see how the energy cycle is working. And the neurotransmitter metabolites, I mean, these are really relevant. So we can see here whether or not there is an issue with serotonin levels. Could that be a factor in anxiety or OCD type behavior or rigidity? We can also look at dopamine levels. It all gives us an idea as to how to focus our program. Also, there we go, folate metabolism, fatty acid oxidation, all really relevant. This here is quite useful, the nutritional markers. So we're looking at B vitamins here, but specifically B12. So methylmalonic acid is a metabolite of B12 in the urine, and it actually tells us what B12, how much B12 is being used by the body. So not just with a blood test of B12, it shows us how much is floating around the bloodstream, and it could be particularly high in the blood. And the reason it's high is because it's not being absorbed by the cells and utilised. So this measure's different in the sense that it tells us what the body's actually using. Now we know that B12 is relevant when it comes to language development, brain function in general, cognitive function in general. So it's a really useful measure, as with the B6, because we know how important that is for serotonin production, B5 for adrenal function. So they're all really useful measures. We can also take a look at issues with glutathione. And so there's a lot of information in one test here, so it is really useful if you're looking at embarking on a biomedical nutritional protocol for your child with autism. It costs at the moment it's £259. If you go to our website, you can see there's a link there to purchase it. Thanks for listening.